provinces to also withdraw and retable their appropriation bill. Honorable Speaker, following the withdrawal of the first 2025 appropriation bill, I would like to introduce a new bill with minimal changes whilst also considering the new economic updates. As pronounced by the Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwana, the fiscal constraints and weak economic outlook continue to be unfavorable to the South African economy. Despite the downward revision of the economic growth forecast, the provincial fiscal framework has not been materially affected. Notwithstanding this new development, we still reaffirm our commitment to the priorities of the 7th administration as initially tabled during the 2025 provincial budget speech, which was withdrawn. The budget proposal, in line with the national priorities, are still geared towards driving inclusive growth and job creation, reducing poverty and tackling the high cost of living, whilst building a capable, ethical and developmental state. Honorable Speaker, the provincial budget for 2025-2026 financial year amounts to 55.798 billion and grows to 58.367 billion in the last year of the 2025 MTEF. The provincial equitable share allocation remains at 44.765 billion in 2025-2026, 46.200 billion in 2025-2027, and 47.719 billion in 2027-2028. The conditional grant allocation amounts to 9.918 billion in 2025 financial year and 9.18582 billion in the outer year of the MTEF. The changes in the conditional grants allocation are attributed to the correction in relation to the Comprehensive Agricultural Support Grant Program. The net effect of the changes to the conditional grants allocation after the correction of the CASP allocation increased from 751.764 million to 809.766 million in 2025-2026. The provincial own revenue target remains unchanged at 1.398 billion in 2025-2026 and increases to 1.461 billion in 2026-2027, then to 1.527 billion during the 2027-2028 financial year. Honorable Speaker, the allocation for the provincial departments as well as the provincial legislature largely remains unchanged. The provincial legislature received 522.583 million, whilst Office of the Premier allocation is standing at 519.498 million for the 2025-2026 financial year. The Department of Community Safety and Transport is allocated 2.446 billion in 2025-2026, with Provincial Treasury receiving the 695.181 million, whilst the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs receives 681.869 million. The Department of Health is allocated 70.040 billion. The Department of Human Secondary 1.848 billion. The Department of Education 22.895 billion. And the Department of Arts, Culture, Sports and Recreation is allocated 776.063 million, whereas 1.876 billion is allocated to the Department of Social Development in the 2025-2026 financial year. The Department of Economic Development, Environment, Conservation and Tourism is allocated to 1.013 billion. The Department of Agriculture receives 1.277 billion, and the Department of Public Works and Roads allocation amounts to 4.2 2.07 billion during the 2025-26 financial year. Honorable Speaker, I would like to reaffirm to this August House that we remain committed to our drive to join hands with the private sector to grow the economy and create jobs. As part of the intervention of government to grow the economy, the province is in the process of establishing the Northwest Development Fund as set aside 100 million as part of the government contribution to this initiative. The budget proposal being tabled today forms a blueprint for a new era of inclusive growth and transformation. This proposal takes into consideration the unfavorable socio-economic conditions that our people are faced with and have been tailored in such a way that the province is capacitated to address the imbalances. Honorable Speaker, please allow me to table the following amended documents: the Appropriation Bill 2025 and the Estimates of Revenue and Expenditure Report. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mosenogi. The Northwest Appropriation Bill 2025 stand referred to the Portfolio Committee on Premier and Finance for further scrutiny and processing. Honorable members, this House will adjourn for 15 minutes to allow for short media interview, if there's any, and thereafter resume the business after 15 minutes. The House stands adjourned.
Hai vai, che ho la chiesa è busy. Wolfgang, go and do interviews. Get delegated. No, take that away. The first 15 minutes, I want to keep that guy. I want to start to
Mo, ha ke tlo dumedisa, ke itse go blank. Wa go dumedisa. Okay. Ke testa. Dra testa we are in the house will just resume. It's all okay. Hello. Ke feletse ke dikgang. Testing, testing. That's what happened. Testing, testing. We are testing the system. We are testing the system. Is it okay? Mm. 15 minutes? Camera? Okay.
Recorder number 5. Honorable members, can we have order, please? Honorable Morin, can we please have order? Secretary, may you please read the next order, please?
Order number 5, debate on the motion, debate on notice of motion 5.1, a 74.3 billion rand loan application by the Northwest Housing Corporation to the Development Bank of Southern Africa, and what the implications of this liability will be on the provincial fiscus and service delivery in general.
Honorable members, the notice of motion was tabled by Honorable Steyn for a debate in the House. I will now call on Honorable Steyn to lead the debate. Honorable Steyn.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
You've got 5 minutes.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, today we finally get the opportunity to debate the 74.3 billion loan application by the Northwest Housing Corporation to the Development Bank of Southern Africa, and what the implications of this liability will be on the provincial fiscus and service delivery in general. This loan seeks to fund the construction of what is termed a mega smart city, somewhere around Lanseria within the Madibeng local municipality. But to date, neither the Housing Corporation nor Coxter MEC Wageng Molapisi take this legislature into confidence into what exactly a smart mega city is, as per the provincial government's definition. According to the United Nations, a megacity is a metropolitan area with a population that exceeds 10 million people. A smart city is defined as an innovative, urbanized area where advanced ICT technology infrastructure is established, improving the quality of life of residents through efficient and smart e-governance, supporting sustainable economic development and growth. Here is the problem, Deputy Speaker. Madibeng's total population hovers at around 550,000 residents, and the ICT infrastructure there required to qualify as a smart mega city is decades behind the qualifying criteria. Madibeng cannot even deliver clean, potable water to all its residents. Deputy Speaker, the less said about the failed governance, financial mismanagement, political instability in Madibeng, the better. It is nowhere near close to being an efficient and smart government that delivers. Deputy Speaker, the provincial government wants to incur a 74.3 billion rand liability to fund a development that would benefit Gauteng, rather than prioritize the residents of Northwest. How can this government ethically and morally justify a development that the Northwest is, quite plainly, not ready for? 74.3 billion mega project comes at a cost of almost 150% more than the total annual provincial budget, which MEC Mosenogi just tabled, which for the current financial year hovers around 55 billion. 55 billion that cannot address the current socio-economic needs of Northwest residents, as admitted by Premier Lazarus Mokgosi, as admitted by MEC Kenetswe Mosenogi, and every MEC that have lamented funding shortfalls on key service delivery programs in every department, in every committee in this legislature. As we all know, mega projects are always delayed behind schedule and incur expenditure far above the budget due to poor planning, poor construction, ineffective project management, fraud, corruption, and wasteful expenditure. Just like Kusile and Mudupe, liabilities that the nation will never be able to pay off, so too, as things stand, the Northwest provincial government would never be able to pay off a 74.3 billion rand mega city project. How will this mega project create jobs for the more than 1 million people in Northwest desperately looking for a job? And if we want to address unemployment in Northwest, which hovers at 56%, the highest unemployment rate in the world, would it not be better if we obtain a 74.3 billion rand BDSA loan to invest this money in our small dorpies, villages, and existing cities? Because the reason Northwest has the highest unemployment rate in the world is because every municipality in the province has collapsed due to failed governance and crumbling infrastructure. If we want economic development and growth, we do not need a megacity. We need every municipality, every city, and every dorpie and village to be effectively governed. If we can invest the 74 billion rand into our existing towns to fund infrastructure and service delivery, imagine the difference it would make to all residents throughout the Northwest. Maybe then Mahikeng could truly become a capital city with the infrastructure of a capital city. Maybe Koster will then finally have a main road. Maybe if we invest in Lichtenburg as an agri-hub, more emerging farmers would access markets with ease to sell fresh produce at a reduced input cost. Maybe if we invest some of these millions into Potchefstroom, the city could become a leading international destination for technological research and development. Maybe a few 100 million here and there could improve the critical bulk water infrastructure throughout the province so that every resident, when they open a tap, receive clean water. We can do a lot more with 74.3 billion rand to improve the lives of Northwest residents, who all want the most basic of things: clean water when we open a tap, electricity when we switch on a light, safe roads when we travel, economic opportunity where we live. Not a mega city for a few, but prosperity for all. Once this government have mastered the basics, then we can look at a mega city, and only then. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Steyn. Honorable Nkompane, you've got 11 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Acting Premier, members of the Executive, members of the Provincial Legislature, Dumelang Bagaetsho and Bagaetsho botlhe ka kwao gae. During the official opening of this August House, at the start of the 7th administration, Deputy Speaker, Premier Lazarus Mokhosi maintained that megacities and smart city programs will unlock investment in key focus areas such as housing, infrastructure, transport and logistics, education, leisure, tourism, healthcare, etc. It is therefore noteworthy that we are finally coming closer together across different political parties to develop a clear path to arrive at achieving a smart city project in the province. I must say this debate is rather encouraging. It is demonstrating the esteemed members' intention to move from theory to practice. The context at which this debate arises may rather be discomforting to some, but be that as it may, for us the possible loan that is mentioned is an ambitious plan and a vision with potential to change the course of our provincial development and bring dignity to thousands of lives. As housing restored dignity for the poor and marginalized members of the society, the challenges of housing in the province are well known, and we believe that the step by the Northwest Housing Corporation in this regard of thinking about what is said to be a loan is indeed progressive, as it is part of their plans and vision. We are optimistic that if there is any loan that might one day come in the space, it will actually aid already existing efforts by the Department of Human Settlement to expeditiously achieve management of sporadic rise of the informal settlement, the improvement of integrated human settlement developments, and it can even assist to build a new cohort of SMMEs in the construction and property sector in the province and create lasting employment. Now, Deputy Speaker, the Northwest Human Settlement seeks to achieve or to address the housing backlog and funding deficiencies that both the country and the province are experiencing. It goes without saying, Deputy Speaker, that the current budget of just over 1.2 billion for housing infrastructure of the province will take longer to achieve housing delivery to the citizens of the province. Government is unable to reach its financial obligation and commitments due to drastic budget cuts. The fact that it took Parliament over 2 months to adopt a budget demonstrated the dire financial strains that the country finds itself on. Honorable Deputy Speaker, this debate brought forward is based on an antithesis to the positive development trajectory embarked by the ANC-led government. Members of the opposition benches, I beg them to understand that the key most benefits of rolling out large-scale housing infrastructure projects lead to improvement in the local economy. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the government's move to continue to work with institutions like DBSA, the private sector, and other parties of interest in unlocking the economic benefit to the country and to the people of the province we have over too many of informal settlements creating over-reliance and expectations, and therefore we will always encourage that to happen. And therefore the smart and mega cities carries potential to and will assist our municipalities to expand property rates collection and improve municipal revenue generation. Our people have also started on their own privately owned or acquired land that has been through restitution, started to think around the establishment of mega cities as well as other new settlement, an example of Mekgaren CPA, Bakubung, Bakata, and other communities. Honorable Speaker, therefore, the Department of Human Settlement will henceforth take the lead to align with Section 19 of the Housing Act, which stipulates that the mandate of the entity, and in this case, the Northwest Housing Corporation Act of 84 of 1980, Act 84 of 1982, is very clear that the entity carries no mandate to implement megacities, nor to enter into contractual obligations with external funders without the shareholders' involvement, and therefore the implementation will be carried out by the shareholder. Those who are too forward need to exercise patience and wait. We are government of the people, by the people. The Department of Human Settlement is aware and shall always operate in line with all the legislative prescripts through the guidance of Treasury and the EXCO blessings. The department has begun a process of repealing the Act and has tabled the bill, which is currently published in the Provincial Gazette for public comments. Our aim is to empower the entity to, amongst others, implementation of megacities and smart cities, which is not specifically stipulated in the current Act. Through rigorous consultation processes, which will be led by the department being the shareholder on behalf of government, our communities, being the people of the Northwest, will immensely form part and will benefit from the smart and the megacity projects. The funding model proposal for these megacity projects includes consideration of blended funding models, combining public funds with private capital, donor contribution, the development finance to mitigate risk and extend impact. We are confident as the Northwest government led by the ANC that the pledge by DBSA to support our Northwest government, as they have put it during the time of the interaction with the former Premier, MAP, and under the acting Premier, Nono Maloi, has always shown that they are going to assist in capacity building to enable the relevant department and its entity, that is the Housing Corp. It is the right move, and our people must not be defocused, and we will forever continue to put them first. Opportunities of blended finance brought about in the opportunities for blended finance brought about in blended financing, the risk sharing, the blended financing leverages private sector investment, reducing pressure on public funds. Leverage effect, every rand of public funding can potentially attract multiple rands in private investment. Development impact, the donor and concessional finance may help structure the project with greater social and environmental outcomes. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Northwest people and the country at large needs to know that the loan applications and fundings are spearheaded by Treasury and approved by the EXCO. The implications that are put before us by this motion of provincial fiscal and service delivery is immaterial, because where we are seated, there's no such a loan, there's no application, and it is just a dream. It is something that is not there. We cannot come here and lie to our people. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nkopane. Honorable Moema, you've got 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Shakespeare in absentia and your leadership collective of the EFF, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Maine, Honorable members of the Provincial Legislature, good morning. The Northwest Housing Corporation's recent application for a 74.3 billion loan application proposal from the Development Bank of Southern Africa represents a proof that we have a chronic housing and infrastructure deficit. This loan proposal has sparked interest not only for its potential to transform living conditions, but also for the complex implications it may have on the provincial fiscus and the broader landscape of service delivery in the Northwest. At the heart of this initiative lies the intention to tackle persistent housing backlogs that have plagued the province for years. The Northwest, like many other provinces in South Africa, faces significant challenges in providing adequate housing for its rapidly growing population. And informal settlements have expanded, and service delivery protests often stem from frustrations over standard living conditions. While the potential benefits of such a financial injection are significant, the implications for the provincial fiscus raise critical concerns. A loan of this magnitude would likely require some form of guarantee or fiscal backing from the provincial government. This introduces the risk of long-term debt obligations that could strain the province's financial sustainability. If not carefully managed, loan repayments could divert funds from the essential public services such as healthcare, education, and social development. Moreover, the debt servicing cost could limit the government's ability to respond flexibly to unforeseen fiscal pressures or economic downturns. Additionally, the success of this initiative depends heavily on governance, transparency, and efficient project management. South Africa's public sector, and the Northwest Province in particular, has experienced instances of financial mismanagement and maladministration. Without stringent oversight mechanisms and accountability frameworks, there's a danger that funds could be misallocated or lost to corruption, undermining both objectives of the loan and public trust. It is therefore essential that we focus on ensuring that there is stability and necessary leadership in the housing corp to impose rigorous due diligence and conditions tied to performance milestone, fiscal discipline, and community consultation. The broader implications for service delivery must also be considered. On the one hand, the proposal for a loan application might be creating an impression that there is a potential to catalyze significant improvements in public infrastructure, enhancing access to housing, services, and employment opportunities. If implemented as part of a holistic urban development strategy, the project could stimulate local economies and improve quality of life for thousands of residents. On the other hand, if the loan is not matched by institutional capacity and interdepartmental coordination, it could exacerbate existing inequalities and create isolated developments lacking integration. Political dynamics further complicate the situation. Large-scale financial commitments often become politically contested, especially when questions arise over transparency, community engagement, and the equitable distribution of benefits. The provincial leadership must therefore ensure that this initiative is guided by inclusive and planning process and robust communication strategies that engage all stakeholders, from municipal authorities to local communities. In conclusion, the 74.3 billion loan application proposal by the Northwest Housing Corporation to develop the Bank of South Africa represents a significant challenge. While it has the potential to transform the housing landscape of the province and enhance service delivery, its success hinges on sound fiscal planning, good governance, and the active involvement of the public. As the EFF speaker, we therefore reject the proposal because loans put a burden on the coming administrations, and as well, we do not have trust and confidence in the housing corp itself. You saw recently they've been diverting from their actual mandate and even initiating programs that are even outside their scope, giving people raw meat, attempting to even killing our people, turning into events and so forth. So it appears clearly that there's no leadership. That housing corp as an entity is faced with critical leadership crisis and credibility chaos. Therefore, as the EFF, we stand to reject the proposal. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Moyama. Honorable Groenewald, you've got 3 minutes.
Thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker. The Freedom Front Plus stands today in absolute opposition to the reckless and fiscally suicidal decision by the Northwest Housing Corporation to apply for a 74.3 billion loan from the Development Bank of Southern Africa. After interest calculated over 20 years, the total amount to be paid back on a loan will be to 183.8 billion rand. To put it in perspective, with a monthly payback of 765.8 million rand, you could give every single person living in the Northwest a monthly stipend of 200 rand for the next 20 years. Let us be clear, this so-called mega-city is not a development plan. It's a desperate election smokescreen by a failing ANC-led government that has run out of ideas, run out of money, and run out of shame. The Northwest Province has a total budget of 55 billion. This loan is 74 billion. What's more than the entire provincial budget, or differently put, after interest, a total of all 3 years' budget in the medium term combined. Who in their right mind would commit an already struggling province to this kind of debt? Who will pay this back? The answer is simple. The people of the Northwest, through the equitable share, through reduced services, through sacrificed infrastructure, will carry the burden of ANC incompetence for decades to come. There are currently 75 housing projects in this province that are blocked or incomplete. Clinics are understaffed, schools are collapsing, municipalities are bankrupt, roads are pothole graveyards. But instead of fixing what is broken, the government wants to build castles in the air with borrowed billions. The Freedom Front Plus demands accountability. This loan must be stopped. The Northwest Housing Corporation has no mandate to build megacities. Its job is to provide decent, affordable housing to the people, not to act like a rogue property developer playing monopoly with public money. This is not development, this is debt slavery. This is not a vision, this is vanity. And the people of Northwest deserve better. The House must rather investigate if such a loan is being applied for, if it's legally or not, and ask the DBSA to reject any such application. Speaker, if the loan goes through, it will be remembered not as a legacy in progress, but as a monument to mismanagement, another ANC blunder carved into the depth of future generations. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Groenewald. Honorable Williams, you've got 11 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, Dr. Despo Mohono, Honorable Premier Lazarus Mokhosi in absentia, members of the Executive Council, members of the Provincial Legislature, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I am worried about the debate because I'm not sure about the essence of the debate. The department just clarified there is no law. The department, not me. So I'm just worried, but let me go to, so I wanted to clarify first, members on my left, that there is no law. The debate, it's saying 74 billion loan application by the Northwest Housing Corporation to the Development Bank of South Africa and implications of this liability on provincial fiscus and service delivery in the province. That's the speech. I want to talk to the misunderstandings and misconceptions and grandstanding that we do as politicians from time to try and score easy and cheap political points. But I want to speak to the content of what this implies. Honorable Speaker, President Cyril Ramaphosa, during the Sustainable Infrastructure Development Symposium for South Africa held in 2021, decried that a tepid approach to investment in infrastructure undermines the goal to improve rural accessibility and establish linkages to formal economic opportunities in urbanized areas. There can be no argument that infrastructure is the foundation on which the future of our country is being constructed. It is the cornerstone of any nation, competitiveness, prosperity, and social well-being. Infrastructure development connects people to market opportunities and each other. Such connectivity is the lifeline of business, fueling the flow of goods, services, and ideas that drives innovation and growth.
The work of the state-owned entities in our economy of providing essential services and contributing to economic growth and helping reduce poverty cannot be overstated. To give concrete meaning to our vision of growing our provincial economy through infrastructure-led development, we as the ANC are committed to providing the living condition of residents of the Northwest. We are of the firm view that infrastructure serves as the foundation of our province economy by providing necessary physical and social systems for sustained growth and development. Through infrastructure network, we can improve productivity, attract investment, and enhance the overall well-being of every person who calls this province a home. Transformation of jobs can only come from economic growth, and that is why we must support every entity, every government department, every private sector institution that can help us achieve on this program. Changing the apartheid spatial planning and accelerating our programs of housing delivery requires us to reset buttons and do things differently. Collaborations with municipality, traditional leaders, and other stakeholders in the spirit of the district development model is crucial to identify pieces of land that are to be used to create a more just and equitable urban landscape by addressing the legacy of apartheid caused by your ancestors anyway. Spatial planning through legislation, strategic frameworks, and a focus on integrated and sustainable development. However, Honorable Speaker, while enthusiasm for large-scale infrastructure development projects like this is warranted, it is imperative that we base our discourse on the facts. Contrary to what is put out there by public reps, there is no loan of 74 billion that has been approved by the Development Bank of South Africa to the Northwest Housing Corporation. At present, what exists is a conditional commitment of administrative support from DBSA to assist the entity into developing a bankable business case. The process is purely preparatory in nature and does not constitute any form of financial approval or disbursement of the funding. As such, any suggestion that a loan has been granted or confirmed is misleading and prematurely raises public expectation. A final decision on the loan can only follow once a rigorous due diligence process is completed, including the submission of a viable project plan that aligns with national and provincial priorities and fiscal responsibilities. Furthermore, it is necessary to re-examine the institutional competency and the legal mandate of the Northwest Housing Corp, which I believe the department is busy with that process. So, according to the enabling legislation that governs the entity, its primary function is to manage and promote housing projects and not independently engage in high-risk, large-scale borrowing arrangements. Such financial undertakings, especially those with significant implication for provincial fiscus, fall squarely within the purview of the department itself. If in the future a decision is made to proceed with funding application of this magnitude, it must purely and properly be located and driven within the department itself, which holds the appropriate mandate and accountability framework. The role of the NWHC should be supportive and operational, not strategic or financial, especially in matters that carry substantial long-term liabilities for the province. We must exercise fiscal prudence and institutional discipline in the execution of our infrastructure agenda. As leaders, it is our duty to ensure that governance is not only visionary but also legally sound and transparent. Any infrastructure development must comply with applicable laws, regulation, and intergovernmental processes that guide responsible public financial management. Let us therefore all remain steadfast in our commitment to develop our people, to develop our province. Development should not come on the basis of a color or an affiliation. It is a right of every citizen. And therefore, bringing the debate in such a premature state, for me, it is nothing, Honorable Deputy Speaker, but grandstanding by the members on my left. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Williams. Honorable Sola, you've got 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Mkhonto party does not support the envisaged 74.3 billion in loan application by the Northwest Housing Corporation in the development of Southern Africa for the following reasons. A mega city is defined as a very large city that has a population of more than 10 million residents people, according to the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs. A mega city therefore has about 6 million residents more than the Northwest Province population, which had 3.8 million residents as at 2022 census report. Before any attempt could be made to establish a new mega city in the Northwest Province, the Northwest Housing Corporation must first address the existing housing backlogs in the province, including incompleted housing or uncompleted housing units in Northwest dating back to 2011, as highlighted by the South African Human Rights Report that was released in November 2024. The Commission revealed, Honorable Deputy Speaker, that more than many RDP housing projects remain incomplete across the province, with poor planning, contractual disputes, and weak oversight cited as key factors. In this particular instance, some of the service providers were paid whilst work were not of good quality standard. The defaulters to date have not been brought to book. The existing municipal towns throughout the Northwest Province are in a state of decay. Infrastructure has deteriorated due to a collapse in local government. Therefore, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Umkhonto party calls for the revitalization of existing towns, dorpies and villages commonly known as VTSD, before embarking on the construction of the so-called mega city project. The 74.3 billion loan application by the Northwest Housing Corporation is clearly not intended to address the immediate needs of the Northwest resident, but to line up the pockets of cadres of the ruling party who are shouting at me whilst presenting or debating at this particular stage. In terms of the preamble of the Northwest Housing Corporation Amendment Act number 9 of 1994, Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Northwest Housing Corporation does not have a legal mandate nor a legal standing to build mega cities or smart cities, but it exists to address homeless and develop social housing assistance within the province of Northwest itself. The said act defines the word house, in case you don't know it, as including any shelter, affordable low-cost housing or low-cost dwellings, flats, apartments or residential units, whether held or to be held under sectional title deed. The 74 billion of DBSA loan is set to follow the same pattern the country has experienced with mega projects like Midupi and Kusile, where funds will most probably be funded. Be funneled, not be funded, where funds will be funneled to ANC cadres without project being satisfactory, delivered, and without consequence management for that particular matter. The proposal is based on political pronouncement of politicians and not on the Northwest Housing Corporation Act of Parliament, and therefore,
Honorable Solo, I've been too generous with you. Your time is up. Okay?
Oh, thank you very much. You agree with my stopwatch.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Honorable Speaker, for the period that you have
Thank you.
afforded to
Thank you.
Umkhonto weZizwe to debate.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mara
Honorable.
VTSD ke a motho wa rona
Order,
batho.
honorable
VTSD ke a ANC.
Honorable members, can we have order? I see Honorable Mangope is not in the house. We will now call on Honorable Oliphant. You've got 11 minutes.
No, thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Acting Premier, members of the Executive Council, honorable members of the Legislature, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Deputy Speaker, I want to start off by just indicating the absolute abuse of this legislature to come and listen to something that does not exist in fact. Once again, we've seen a premeditated action that does not seem to find its expression in fact anywhere, and that comes again from the Democratic Alliance. We were brought here the last time, Deputy Speaker, to come and debate the location of scholar transport by the same member who brought about this debate today. And in as factless as the scholar transport debate was, we are sitting with another factless debate that we are dealing with today in respect of a loan that does not exist in fact. So the Democratic Alliance wants to bring us here because they have a history as remnants of the National Party and the Democratic Party to try to hold the ANC back from achieving that which it seeks to achieve in government, not an ANC-led government, because we are not leading anybody in government. We are the ANC in government. Our initiatives are to advance transformation and to advance the development of our people. No silly debate of such a nature is going to keep us from achieving that which we want to achieve. They have not been able to demonstrate where the 74 billion loan exists in fact, because it does not exist. So the entertainment that we want to try to bring to this house, they should try to have a roast like Helen Zeller has taught them, to go and sit on an open platform and debate on any issue that does not relate to service delivery. We are quite serious about the work that we are doing. His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, in the opening of Parliament of South Africa, had in expressing support of the infrastructure-led programs to rebuild South Africa, and he remarked that from our largest metros to our deepest rural areas, we have a clear intention to turn our country into a construction site, as roads, bridges, houses, schools, hospitals, and clinics are built and as broadband fiber is laid and new power lines are installed. This we intend on continuously doing even in the Northwest. We therefore support strengthening of capacity of our state-owned enterprises to promote inclusive growth and infrastructure-led programs so that our state-owned entities deliver the measurable results for inclusion and integration in the mainstream economy. This commitment to infrastructure development and empowerment must underpin our efforts to create a more equitable society and ensure that the benefits of transformation accrue to millions of residents of our province. The historically marginalized from our rural and urban communities should also be able to enjoy the democratic dividend. None of our communities should be left behind. There should be investment in their areas to increase access to markets, services, and continued development. Chapter 8 of the Public Finance Management Act underscores the need for departments and entities to follow proper financial protocols. I'm sure that the Democratic Alliance has not seen this. The Act explicitly states the manner in which the entity must follow when borrowing money and/or entering into transactions which bind the national revenue to any future financial commitments unless the Act authorizes, unless authorized by another Act of legislation. This is not the case. This is not the case. We have not seen this happen in the Northwest Province. Deputy Speaker, it was President Mbeki who said, and I quote, "When the ANC government took over in 1994, it found nothing in office. We have found nothing in office, and we have done much with the nothing that we found, and we will continue to do so." The entity is therefore obliged to follow all statutory prescripts in the application of the loan to the DBS from the DBSA and follow proper financial protocols. As has already been indicated, there is no loan that has been approved. There are only memorandums of understanding and agreements in terms of collaboration. The Housing Corporation aims to embark on this path of rebuilding our province and to facilitate the resurgence of our provincial economy through infrastructure-led development, and this must be supported. Within this context, the Housing Corp remains a strategic contributor, ensuring economic inclusion, improving living conditions, and a catalyst to reducing inequality and alleviating poverty in the province. Infrastructure development is one key means to reverse the spatial patterns of apartheid and to address the legacies of privilege and the underdevelopment that the DA and the Freedom Front have not spoken to. In fact, they've spoken to us about struggles that they have no ideas of. No efforts must be spared to address homelessness and develop social housing through assistance. The Northwest Housing Corporation, through the department, must, in pursuit of the objective to accelerate housing delivery, it's just the benefit of reading and knowing English, continue to tap into the housing market by investing in productive sector of the economy to drive social development and boost economic growth. Not everybody knows English. In this regard, the board must hasten to amend the founding legislature of the Housing Corporation. It must continue to play an oversight role on the entity to make sure that the megacity projects does not steer away from its intended objectives of enabling economic growth to address issues such as unemployment and poverty. Collaboration with entities and other sister departments to train hordes of young people on artisan development programs will also enable us to defuse the ticking time bomb of youth unemployment whilst affording them opportunities to acquire skills in various disciplines. The Council for the Built Environment and Built Environment Professionals and Skills Development Strategy for the Public Sector in 2023, December, revealed that 14% of registered professionals in South Africa are women, 1/4, and 62% of registered professionals are white, followed by 25% Africans and 9 Indians and 4 colored. We therefore see why we have not brought any statistics to justify why we don't want development, because we want to keep the industry white. Given the glaring anomaly revealed in the report of the Council in the public sector, we are of the firm belief that collaborative work of the entity and sister departments such as Public Works require resoluteness on their part to address century-old effects of apartheid and colonial economic systems which close opportunities for our people. Interventions to capacitate young people with the requisite skills in order for them to participate meaningfully in the economy through internships and candidacy programs will also be upskilled. Prerequisite technical expertise and project management capacities which the NWHC does not have must be mobilized to counter collusion as well as corrupt practices. These are all things that can come with the loan being approved in various forms or shapes. The participation of the national and provincial treasury, and I want the people on my left to hear, the participation of the national and provincial treasury in the provincial steering committee will ensure that intergovernmental coordination enhances public-private partnerships while attracting investments for delivery of quality public infrastructure that our communities deserve. Nothing must fall between the cracks and no malfeasance must be associated with the rollout of envisaged megacities. So says the ANC. Unlike the doomsayers who do not offer any solutions to the inherited infrastructure backlogs facing our communities, we will hold the provincial exco and the department to the highest level of accountability, just as we've done with VTSD that those who know its successes have just told us about. Thank you very much. We will watch project implementation like a hawk to ensure that the project is corruption-free, that jobs are created for the benefit of our people, as well as inclusivity for shared growth and accelerated service delivery, including development, is realized without compromise. We dare not linger to develop or to deliver on our government's commitment to use infrastructure development as the flywheel of the South African economy. So whether the EFF supports something that doesn't exist or not, we are not there. We will remain focused. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, it is as Robert Frost says, and I quote, the woods are lovely, dark, and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Whilst the opposition has an advantage of sleeping on duty and throwing stones at nothing which they support and going to the same people to ask for their votes, we cannot sleep. We don't have any ability to close our eyes. As much as it looks good for everybody to sleep, we don't sleep. We cannot sleep. We've got services to deliver, as has been said. We dare not linger as elected representatives of our people of the Northwest. We carry the hopes of more than thousands of people who have voted for us in their majority, many who live in abject poverty. Through equitable infrastructure development and prioritizing both urban and rural infrastructure, we can connect the province of the Northwest and undo the legacy of apartheid, which both the DA and the Freedom Front have not spoken to. They want to entrench us in a system that will not allow our people to develop. We will use our land, we will use our skills, we will partner with the private sector and entrepreneurs to turn around the fate of our people. Deputy Speaker, in conclusion, we welcome the role clarification given by Honorable Lenkopane. We welcome the clarity given by Honorable Williams and look forward to the review of processes to be followed and the processes to be followed in the implementation, followed as part of due diligence in order to close whatever loopholes that may occur. We will not be deterred by people who want to put up loopholes in systems that don't exist, by people who want to withhold our focus in terms of driving development, by people who bring debates to the House on things that don't exist in fact or in law. There is no 74.3 billion loan approved. None of you have come to this House with any iota of evidence to convince the people of the Northwest that the ANC government is governing and governing recklessly. All of you have made assertions of things that harbor no facts at all, and you take pride in misleading people on platforms of honorable members. As Deputy Speaker, we are here on an uncalculated debate, a move to embarrass the African National Congress, a plan of the 1994 when the National Party gave us a government with old infrastructure unmaintained for our people, and they thought that we will fail. We have not begun failing. We have made mistakes. We are correcting these mistakes. We will continue governing our country and our province in the interest of the people. We will not sit and throw stones while we live in glass houses. We are waiting for the day that the DA brings the debate to this House, for us to debate stolen land parcels when they had an opportunity to govern in the very same JB Marks. They have not brought that debate. They must bring the debate to this House and debate the impact and the effect of the then Annette Kombrink in her role as the mayor. They've not done so. They've brought us debates, I don't want to say pre-what, but whatever is pre has not happened yet. It is only them who know that Medunsa by the floor is going to indicate what will or what cannot happen. We are bound by the debate because we've got to defend the gains of the African National Congress. I thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Oliphant. Honorable Steyn. And the rest of the debate, you've got 3
Thank you,
minutes.
Deputy Speaker. Honorable Sonakile, the DA will continue to bring debates here in the interest of the people of Northwest. We are not scared, Asiji. Deputy Speaker, MEC Lengopane, I don't know how you participated in this debate. You are not from Coxstar unless you were redeployed. Maar you told us it's a grand project and it will empower people and economic development, what, and then you closed off and you said it's just a dream. It's an ambitious dream. Ke ditoro sa hao. And lehape, former Premier Nona Maloyi is not here. This is the 7th administration. We don't want to hear about him. It is unfortunate that my MEC, Wakeng Molapisi, is not here because at least he would have spoken sense. Honorable Sonakile, this is the quality of debate, but Maubani, Bosiu, Bakopanale, Mohodire, they had a working committee to come and debate here with nonsense. Honorable Williams, the horror of apartheid can never justify failed governance. Never.
Honorable Steele,
let us not do that.
There's a point of
Thank
order.
thank you, Deputy Speaker. It's nonsense parliamentary. It's nonsense parliamentary, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable members.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, my hand is up.
Honorable members, can you please have order? The question has been posed to the presiding officer. The presiding officer will respond to the question. Honorable Williams.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. May I please be protected and the member not address me and focus on the debate? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, you know, today we had a lot of fun in the House. Honorable Madara Sambata.
A communist can't speak like
Honorable Madara Sambata. Honorable Solo. Honorable Solo. Can you please have order? I will make a ruling in the next sitting with regard to whether nonsense is parliamentary or not. We can proceed, Honorable State.
Thank you,
And
Deputy
Honorable
Speaker.
Priscilla Williams, you are protected. Can you please address
Through you,
the House and not
Chairperson, through
address
you,
Honorable
Deputy Speaker, the horror of apartheid can never be used to justify failed governance. Deputy Speaker, Honorable Oliphant participated in this debate and he told us it's factless. The fact is that the title of the debate says the loan application. I debated the loan application. And then he referred to the scholar transport debate that we tabled as the Democratic Alliance, MEC Wessels Morweng. He says it's factless. Children died in scholar transport in this province under that thing. Children has died. Buses are unroadworthy, and the department can't even pay those service providers with broken buses. It's a fact. The fact is, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable State.
The fact is, Deputy Speaker.
I'm addressing you. When I say, no, honorable members, when I call you Honorable State, you must stop. Okay. Honorable members, I will take the point of order, Honorable Williams. Can I please request that we have order? We have started very well, we had fun there and there, and we did not interfere with members doing whatever. Though we are conversing very loudly, some of you, disrupting other members. I want to get your point of order, Honorable members, so that we allow Honorable Steele to conclude.
Yes, Honorable Chair, the point of order is just on the misplaced debate. We are debating the loan on housing corp and not transport. So the member must focus on what we are debating. If the member wants to bring a transport debate, we will do so at that time. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, like I said today, we're having fun. Can we allow Honorable Steele to proceed? Please.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Even these points of...
I will really have to, this time around, remove you from the House or any other member, because we started with having fun, but now we are overdoing it. Can you proceed, Honorable State?
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The points of orders are also nonsense because Honorable Oliphant brought scholar transport here and he told me it was factless when children had died and those buses are unroadworthy. And they can't even pay those unroadworthy buses. It's a fact. And the fact is, Deputy Speaker, the ANC government, it embarrasses itself. It doesn't need me to come here to embarrass it. You do it by yourself as a government. I am here representing the Democratic Alliance in the interest of the people of Northwest. Deputy Speaker, this debate is not premature. It is prudent, because had we come to debate a loan already solicited, it would be a crisis. The aim of this debate is there is no feasibility study. We don't know how many houses are going to be built. We don't know where. We don't know what. We don't know why. We want to stop this, and the Democratic Alliance, I want to thank all members on the left who today spoke on the side of righteousness. Instead, we will reject this with your factless debate. Go back to your working group and work to come debate us.
Thank you, Honorable
here.
Steyn. Your time is up.
We will never back down. I thank you.
Thank you. Your time is up.
application.
Honorable members. Honorable members. Order. Members, honorable order. Honorable members, can you please have order? Members of the House, both on the left and the right, can you please have order? Please, honorable members. Secretary, you may read the next order, please.
Order number 6, MEC's oral reply to questions.
Honorable members, in terms of the legislature program, today's sitting is scheduled for members of the Executive Council to respond to questions tabled for oral reply. The question paper was tabled through the ATC on the 20th May 2025. Honorable members, I want to draw your attention to the following rules. Rule 143, subsection 1, which stipulates that the time allocated for questions for oral reply is 60 minutes. And Rule 143, subsection 2, which states that the discussion on any particular question may not exceed 15 minutes. Honorable members should also note that all questions which will not be responded to due to time will be converted to written reply, and responsible MECs must submit the responses to the Secretary by the end of business today for tabling. Honorable members, I want to remind you that we are still operating on the 9th edition of the standing rules of the Legislature. The 10th edition will only be considered for adoption today. Honorable members must resist the temptation of thinking that the revised rules are already applicable. Although we have subjected support to parties on training on formulation of questions, we have not been strict, and going forward, we will not allow any questions that offend the rules that we have adopted today. Honorable members of the Executive, where a question requires statistical data you cannot immediately provide, please indicate so we will provide you an opportunity to provide same in writing. Now we're getting to the questions, honorable members. The first question is posed by Honorable Babuile to the MEC responsible for Provincial Treasury, Honorable Mosenogi, and Honorable Babuile is not in the House. Okay, so you can respond. Okay. Honorable Mosenogi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The under collection is as a result of the following. The Department of Community Safety and Transport Management has experienced delay in implementing the revised tariffs due to the difficulties in obtaining a gazette from the government printers. Additionally, some municipalities have been withholding or delaying deposits of motor vehicle license revenue to the department, contrary to the relevant provisions stipulated in the contractual agreement. Regarding the Department of Economic Development, Conservation, Tourism, the under-collection was mainly due to the implementation of the outcome of the High Court. During the 2023-2024 financial year, the Casino Association of South Africa and other stakeholders challenged Section 84(1)(e), 87(1)(a), and 87(3) of the Northwest Gambling Board Act number 2 of 2001. The Northwest High Court ruled in their favor, and the decision was subsequently upheld by the Constitutional Court of South Africa. As a result, the entity has had to revert to the 2004 levy tariff. Insofar as it relates to the Department of Public Works, there were delays with regard to implementation of EXCO resolution approving the disposal of non-core strategic assets. How the other response is, how does the MEC remedy the situation? To address underperformance and enhance departmental capacity, the Provincial Treasury, in line with the process of initiating transversal bids for auctioneering services, this initiative aims to ensure the departments conduct auctions as planned and improve the recovery of outstanding debts. These bids are expected to be finalized before the end of the second quarter of the 2025-2026 financial year. The Provincial Treasury, in collaboration with the Department of Economic Development, Environment, Conservation and Tourism, have submitted the money bill and draft amendments of the Northwest Gambling Board Act. The purpose of this draft legislation is to create certainty about the legalities of revenue mobilization and collection from casino operation within the Northwest Province. Furthermore, the Provincial Treasury, working with the Department of Community Safety and Transport, is actively engaging with municipalities to address the practice of deliberate withholding or delay by some municipalities on transferring motor vehicle license fees on time to COSATMA. The province underspent by 1.75% on conditional grant as opposed to the same period in 2023-2024 financial year. The reasons are the underspending of the conditional grant, mainly as a result of underperformance by the Department of Arts, Culture, Sports and Recreation, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, and Agriculture and Rural Development. For sports and recreation, arts, culture, sports and recreation, the underspending was as a result of the delay with the appointment of the contract for the implementation of the infrastructure projects. Regarding that, the National Transferring Department took time to approve the business plan for Comprehensive Agricultural Support Program grant, and as a result, the implementation was impacted negatively. Of all the departments, the department remains, obviously the issue of agriculture remains a major challenge. On how we intend to assist and support the department is expected to implement all departments that were severely affected are expected to implement recovery measures with the main objective of improving expenditure and on the Comprehensive Agriculture Support Program grant. And this improvement was expected as at the end of 2024-2025 financial year. Core to the recovery measures was agility in unlocking and concluding procurement processes. The Provincial Treasury is continuing to work with the department to address the planning and implementation challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Mosenogi. Does any member wish to make a follow-up? Honorable Dabambe.
No, thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. On the issue of municipalities that are not transferring their money to Department of transport. If you can get which municipalities are those, and also the mitigation that the department is putting, because engagement is not enough. What is that Treasury is putting? Be it a Riots Act to say, if you don't give the department the money that is due, because this is a serious violation of the service level agreement between transport and municipalities. So what is that Treasury is doing, including withholding of equitable shares to municipalities? Have they ventured into taking that route to ensure that the province is able to get its rightful revenue? Thank you.
Honorable Mosenogi.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. As we have stated, the Honorable Member is requesting that we submit a list of the municipalities. We will do so, but the engagements are ongoing because some of the municipalities, they've been having challenges, and as it relates to the withholding of the equitable share, it's not the Provincial Treasury, it's the National Treasury, but it's not within our interest as well that the equitable share must be withheld of the municipalities. So we've been supporting municipalities in terms of the commitment they should make on servicing their current account with regard to the third-party accounts. I think that's basically the questions that the Honorable Member has asked. Thank you.
Honorable Speaker.
No, thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. We welcome the response by the MEC to dismantle a culture of non-payment and commitment made to work with the Provincial Treasury to strengthen the collection of debt owed to municipalities by government. Now the question is, what other programs and partnerships are in place to encourage households across our municipalities to embrace their responsibility to reduce their outstanding municipal debts?
Honorable Mosenogi.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I think this part is largely a new question, specifically on household. But what we can say through we have insisted that municipalities across the province, even those that are not under mandatory intervention or voluntary intervention, all of them need a recovery plan. And part of the recovery plan should address the issue of collection, both for commercial and for households. And obviously the household challenge is much more bigger. So the challenge largely rests with the data available. And we have been working with them for cleansing of data, ensuring that they improve the information of who they should be billing, and that even the billing account goes to the right person, get also the contact details as a result. So we are working with some of the municipalities, and we will be piloting with 2 or 3 municipalities, but in some areas there are improvements. The challenge will be also collaboration with ward councillors to ensure that they encourage communities to pay their household debts. But the other major issue is to intensify on the indigent register, because in some parts of municipalities, they have not really updated the indigent register, where they can be at least a reduction in terms of what is due to the municipality, and they can benefit from the subsidy that indigent household will benefit from. Thank you.
Any other follow-up question? Honorable Tsolo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. The Honorable Acting Premier indicated that the Department of Agriculture remains a major challenge. Therefore, I would like to be clarified, Honorable Deputy Speaker, as to the mitigation factors or measures that will be taken in order to deal with this particular department to avert the major challenges that have been reflected. Thanks, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Mosenogi, honorable members, I just read to you the rules earlier on, so you should be just careful of the 15 minutes and the 60 minutes, because the 15 minutes is inclusive of the 60 minutes. So we may not want to spend, and I'm not saying members must not ask questions, we may not want to spend the 60 minutes of the questions on one question, because at 60 minutes we're going to finish in terms of the rule. We are going to stop on the questions and defer them to written responses. as we do that. We are left with 5 minutes on the 15 minutes. Honorable Mosenogi, you respond to Honorable Solo.
Thank you very much. We indicated that the delay also in terms of cash-based expenditure was as a result of the business plan being approved late by the National Department. So we have had a discussion with the department and introduced the measures that will improve in terms of their expenditure on the comprehensive agricultural support grant. It was part of our response earlier, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Olwan.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Yes, in terms of the APP of Provincial Treasury, and specifically looking at the culture of non-payment, which has been mentioned a couple of times now, the department, what action plan can they put forward that actually addresses both the households, the municipalities, and even businesses that are owing money to us? Because it's a multi-year thing. I can take that as a written response if she cannot answer it now. Thank you.
Okay, it's a new question. You'll have to formulate and ask it whether for oral or written response. Honorable Sonakile.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. To the MEC Treasury, can you kindly quantify the 1.75% that has been underspent on conditional grants as to, in terms of rents and cents, how much are we talking about? Thanks.
Thank you very much. The oral questions often, Honorable Deputy Speaker, it does not necessarily have to, but we will provide it as part of the written a response on quantifying. But in our press statement that we released as the Executive Council, that figure was there. I don't want to mislead the House at this point. Thank you.
It is in line with the rules that where statistics are required, the member of the executive may request that the question be responded to in written response. We now move to the second question posed by Honorable Wadsworth, who's absent, and to the MEC responsible for cooperative governance and human settlement and traditional affairs, Honorable Malapisi, who's not in the House, who has authorized Honorable Vessels Moren to respond. Honorable Moren, may you respond to the question?
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. The question was with regards to the event that was held at Lokaling on the 13th of March, which cost government 250,000. And then the MEC was required to give a response to that. And then we have provided an Annexure A, which provides invoices and the payments therefore. And then the subsequent question to that was what did the MEC do to intervene on the health hazard? There were no health and safety issues experienced. The ablution facilities were provided for, proper sitting arrangement under a tent, and the police presence were available. Furthermore, there were no reported incidents even after the event. And then the MEC have considered the discomfort of the members of the House and have since questioned the former accounting authority and the current interim board not to undertake similar events without the express approval of the MEC's office. Thank you.
Does any member wish to have a follow-up question? Honorable Sonakile.
It is not necessarily a question, Deputy Speaker, but to say the member is making reference to an annexure that has been submitted. Can we kindly be finished with that annexure? Thanks.
MC Moren, you will then facilitate that members do have a copy of the annexure.
No, I will do that, Deputy
Secretary, do you have the annexure? If not, we will facilitate that members will file.
Thanks, Speaker.
Honorable Moren.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think the MEC responsible has made it clear that upon realizing this, he has called the accounting officers and made it clear and cautioned them that in future they must desist from embarking on things, on a situation of this nature without necessarily considering other requirements thereof. And I must remind an honorable member that consequence management does not necessarily warrant a suspension. It also speaks to a member cautioning or making it clear to the relevant accounting authority that this should not repeat itself. So from where I'm seated, that on its own is fine for a consequence management.
Thank you, honorable members. We'll now migrate to the third question, posed by Honorable Sonti to the MEC responsible for agriculture. Honorable Sambata.
Speaker.
Honorable Wema.
It appears that we're not having the same question paper or answer sheet, because here there's a second question on the appointment of the Northwest Housing Corp board. Can the MEC provide a date on the appointments, their positions and qualifications, and their earnings per setting? So it appears on my question paper. So maybe, and I see you are already going to a question 3.
Honorable Moren, because we are on question 2, do you have that response to the question? Because you are supposed to respond to the question as posed.
No, pardon me, Deputy Speaker. Ke gama ya mafisa ke gama ke gadimile. The question was to provide the qualification for the members of the Northwest Housing Corporation Board. We have provided them there, Honorable Moema. I don't know if I should go through them or in the interest of time, they appear there from Dr. M. Tlhape to Ms. Mika, and we have attached their qualifications. If you can check them there. I don't think I should go through them in the interest of time, Deputy Speaker. And then...
Honorable MEC Moren, can we, table staff secretary, ensure that the attachment to questions are given to members? Because I sympathize with what Honorable Moren is saying, that in the interest of time, we are only on the third question. And we've got 17 questions, and we have 60 minutes to deal with questions. But because, Honorable Moema, you have posed this question, do you want to insist that the qualifications be read out, or we save time and then you'll be favored with the attachment? Honorable Moema.
No, agreed, Speaker, in the interest of time. But I think among other questions, question C, that one is straightforward. How much do they earn per sitting? That one we can answer. You don't need to give us attachment in the near future or so. You can answer to that immediately.
No, thank you very much.
Honorable Moren, may I request you to look at the question and respond to, say, the question A, B, C, the response is like this, so that honorable members don't have to come up and down saying that you have not responded to questions, and that's applied to all members of the executive. Yeah, you may go to the last answer.
Okay, no, thank you very much, Chair. The chairperson, the per day, the rate per day, he or she earns 5,549, and then per hour is 694 rand. The deputy chairperson is 4,709 rand, and then per hour is 589. And then members of the board is 4,317 rand, and then per hour it's 540. Thank you.
Honorable members, is there any follow-up question? Honorable Dabampe?
No, thanks, Deputy Speaker. Just clarity. Is it per sitting or, because I hear him saying per day, per hour, so I want to understand, because normally boards end per sitting, not per day, and so just a clarity. That is it per day, per sitting, or what? Thanks.
Honorable Moren?
It is per sitting, and the assumption is that sitting normally takes 1 day.
Thank you, Honorable Moren. No, can we have order, Honorable Dabampi? No, Honorable Dabampi, can we please have order? You know, today we're doing just fine. Honorable members will now migrate to question 3, posed by Honorable Sonti to the MEC responsible for agriculture, Honorable Sambata.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. The answer on A is that the main drivers of overspending in the program, it's traveling of lecturers and assessors and moderators. Once you have students on the program internship, wherever they are, you need them visited by assessors and moderators. And that you can't properly budget, because when you budget, you will not know the kilometers from where assessors would be coming from to a farm. It depends on the distance in the province you travel. That's one cost driver there. The second one, and Honorable Dabambi knows this one, because he's the chair of the biggest institutions council, UNISA. It's on the basis of the material. The cost of material keeps changing. And the reason it keeps changing is on the basis of the number of learners you would have, which are attached to farms, but also number of learners that would then be expected to be taken through theory in that instance. So the cost drivers are predominantly those ones that makes it far expensive. On B, on how many were trained, the first breakdown we have is that training was on that period was on beef production, broiler production, layer production, business management and marketing, vegetables production, and vegetable processing. The numbers are as follows. The total is 409. In the 409, 180, it's males, and 228, it's females. And in the total, 229 is youth, and in the total, 5, it's people with disability. And then C, as we indicated above, the total is 409, it does not change. And we have said beef, broiler, layer, marketing, vegetable production, and vegetable processing. And then those that were training them is ARC, which is Agricultural Research Council. Unfortunately, I must speak on this matter because there were people who were saying MEC and ARC. ARC is the National Department of Agriculture entity. It has 2 functions. The National Department does give it direct allocation for training in provinces because they have provincial appearance. The second one is when a department, which means a provincial department, gives them a responsibility to do training, but they are accredited with AgriSeta. The second one that is responsible for training, it's our own Hura Farmer Training Center, which is the provincial entity. In the breakdown, 361, the majority were trained through ARC. The next one, it's on the graduates' placement. The total we had placed at the time in question, it's 116. And this 116 was covered by one program called CASP. Now, in CASP, you pay graduates 7,250 per month in CASP. But I must also be honestly disclosing that this year we also have an inclusion of internship through AgriSeta. And the AgriSeta ones are paid 5,000. So you're going to have two different graduates payment. 1 year CASP, 7.2, and 1 year AgriSeta, 5,000. It's meant for the internship program. The next one, Chair, point 4, which is green jobs. As at the end of the quarter, the department had performed based on its numbers. But I want members, when they look to Department of Agriculture and numbers, they must look to realities. We don't know how many farmers are outside there. You have a situation where today's register does not include somebody who has not registered in the farmers registry. So your planning must also have to do with actuals of, even when people had applied, post the period of closing the application, there are those who are still going to apply. And when the portfolio committee visits, it would find other people saying, we need assistance, this and this. Those are the numbers that makes planning change on each intervention on that regard. So the performance was like that. On the next last year, on the, under 5, on the conditional grants, it says most of conditional grants are underspending. And this question was answered one portion by the MEC of Treasury, the acting premier, the former DSG of the ANC Youth League, the former provincial coordinator of the ANC, Comrade Kenetswe, Mosenogi. No, there's a premier. I'm not saying he must be the premier. There's a premier. Now we elected the ANC without MK. Now we elected you. When you were in the ANC, we elected you. We even employed you. Most carrying organizations, we employed you. You had an income because of the ANC.
We don't need political profiling of individuals here.
Honorable Sambata,
The MEC must respond to questions.
Honorable Moema.
Yes. So the order is that, Speaker, we have limited time, and to do justice to other questions, at least let's focus on the questions. Now, they're responding to each other in terms of credentials, and we don't have interest of that. Our interest is these questions that were asked.
Honorable members.
Thank you very much, Comrade Fanon.
Honorable Solo, please. Can you proceed, Honorable Madam?
Thank you very much, Chair. Now, Chair, on this one, when it says all grants, the most problematic grant expenditure in the department is CASP. Like what the MEC had said, that because of national approval later. But what we had agreed with the portfolio committee through the MEC was that let's not take this answer of late approval. Let's do an assessment in all 9 provinces and check whether late approval only affects Northwest, so that we check if the problem is Northwest, we attend to it in actual sense, so that we don't hide behind national department approving late. Yes, it does approve late, but if other provinces do spend properly, let's then approach those elements of proper expenditure. That's what we have said on this one. We don't want a blanket hide late approval permanently. The second element is also how the department is structured. It's on its own problematic in terms of expenditure of grants. That's what we are going to attend to. So in this one, even the portfolio committee will get a presentation once we are finished to check other provinces. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Sonti, do you have a follow-up question? Okay, does any member have a follow-up question? Honorable Oliphant.
No thanks, Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker, we appreciate the comprehensive response and government support. The distribution of training institutions, 48 by the ARC versus 361 by Cora, suggests reliance on internal infrastructure. It would be useful to understand comparative quality and certification outcomes between these two providers. Thank you very much.
Honorable Sambata.
Well, Chair, the first issue is that both of them are accredited by AgriSeed, both of them, ARC and HORA. The only component that we must be looking at is internal capacity of availability of trainers. HORA being a provincial government entity, we must keep improving on availability. As we speak, it has more vacancies on trainers available, yet it has a sizable number, including directly training community. That's one. Two, on ARC, the advantageous exposure of ARC training is because it's largely favored by the organized formations in agriculture. It gives them too much of exposure on research. Like I said, it's a national entity, but on qualification basis, they render in the same level. Thank you.
Honorable Sonakil, was your hand up? Okay.
No, thank you, Deputy Speaker. A question to the MEC. The MEC is saying that the total learners who were trained is 409, and of the 409, 180 are males and 228 are females. So there's one student who's missing. Where is that one missing student, MEC? Thanks.
Honorable Sambat.
I will find the missing student and send him a notice. Thank you.
Honorable Tsolo.
Oh, thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Have you noted these particular challenges of CASP? Why is the department reneging on the implementation of the beneficiary account that will ultimately assist the department in achieving?
No, when I said we'll be doing provincial checks, it's because the national department says there are provinces who are doing well. And it's purely because of the implementation of the beneficiary accounts. That's what they say. When you take the provincial perspective of the management of the Department of Agriculture, they are not in favor of beneficiary accounts. And on the basis of that, you must look to a province that has a beneficiary holders account and a province that does not have, to come to a proper decision as to if this component here, beneficiary holders account, it's beneficial. I can tell you many problems of it. You give it to a beneficiary account, the supplier who is contracted by the beneficiary holder without the department does not deliver, and the money is paid. Later, the person who must pay for the costs of reactivating of the project is the same department that did not take the responsibility to appoint the supplier and pay the supplier. So we're looking on those things, but if it is beneficial and quicker to implement, we will look to a logistics of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Members. We'll now migrate to the fourth question, posed by Honourable Moyama to the MEC responsible for community safety and transport management, Honourable Morin.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. The Honourable Member wanted to know about the network crisis at Christiana Police Station. during the load shedding and the alternative measures to be considered by the department to ensure that this does not inhibit operations at the station. The SAPS in 1998 migrated from the manual recording of cases or complaints to the information technology, electronic global access control system, which in case of recording of crime or complaint has the crime administration system, which is called CASE, and the investigation case docket management systems. In order to ensure the implementation of all these electronic data management systems, the SAPS through CETA and its Human Resource Development Division train all its members, officers in the implementation application of this system, and even developed standard operating procedures, including procuring backup systems such as laptops with connectivity devices from 3G to 5G, which are used during power outages and not only during load shedding. And then the next question, it spoke to the issues pertaining to general procurement at the stations, which could have otherwise been avoided has the staff been competent for such duties. The Department of Home Affairs, in terms of Section 19(4) of the Immigration Act 13 of 2022, determines which skills or qualifications are to be regarded as critical skills. The SAPS has a component division of supply chain management under which subdirectorate fleet management falls, and all employees in these divisions, including those working as fleet managers, are trained and qualified, assessed and evaluated based on the job description, which is an employment contract agreement between employer and employee. Thank you.
Honorable Mahema, do you have a follow-up question?
Yes, Speaker. What qualifications does the person hold to be a, or what is the prerequisite of being a fleet manager? The question is there, it's on the question paper.
Honorable Moran.
Deputy Speaker, allow me to provide an oral response to that. A written response, rather. Thank you.
Okay. Does any member have a follow-up question? None? Oh, Honorable Tsolo.